or from Italy and from Wolverhampton, and you put them in a room, they will have an awful lot in common, because they haven't yet grown into their own cultures. Whereas if you put a lot of 28-year-olds from a lot of very diverse cultures, then they have a lot less in common. Suddenly through our own cultures that we grow into very, very different creatures, whereas at a child level, we have a lot more in common. And I think, children identify with Mr. Bean extremely quickly, because he is a child, and adults, I suppose, see themselves as they used to be, and they see what fun it must be if you're an adult who hasn't lost his childlike qualities.
I read that you had suggested, horrifyingly, that this might be his last appearance.
Yes, it might. I might, but you must never say never.
No.
You must never say never, so I'm not going to say never, but I just think it's highly unlikely. I mean, one of the things undoubtedly is that, he's a very physical being. I mean, the body language and he expresses comedy in a very physical way, and that's part of the fun of the character, is to see the way he moves and the way that he has his being. And I think that, as the years drip by, then those sort of actions become slightly more difficult.
So like these, just looking at this here then, that, ooh, ow, ooh, yes, not very
exactly, that's not good for the knees at all. You see, I think in 5 years that I probably won't be able to do that.
Or you could sit in a box and they could digitise it out, maybe, something like that.
Yes,
Do you find that walking along the street, meeting people do have an expectation that you will just automatically slip into Mr. Bean for them, do a bit of comedy dancing, a bit of comedy face?
I never find that, actually. I find that actually I think people know by now that I'm quite different, from the characters that I play. And so people actually are very respectful, I find. They don't, demand, a comedy at the drop of a hat.
So if Mr. Bean sort of goes back into the closet for another 10 years, possibly, or forever, no more Blackadder.
What do you? So what am I going to do?
Sorry, you just can't. You're not allowed to go home and drive your cars around in your back garden. We need to see you do something else.
Well, that is a shame. I don't know. I'm sure something will come up. What? I have no idea. There's a possibility. The film I did 4 years ago called Johnny English, which was a silly sort of comedy spy thing, but I always felt that we could or should do a sequel for, that we may or may not do.
Okay.
But something will happen.
Irons in the fire.
Irons in the fire.
Rowan Atkinson, lovely to meet you. Thanks so much.
And as they say in France, gracias.
Well, gracias.
Au revoir
Yeah.
and adios.
Okay.